कौन से नॉन आईएम्स आईएम से बेहतर हैं, एमबीए के लिए आईआईटीज की रैंकिंग क्या होनी चाहिए और क्या उनको कुछ न्यू आईएम्स और बेबी आईएम्स से ऊपर चूज करना चाहिए, ये बहुत सारे सवाल हैं। और अभी आप एक बहुत क्रूशियल जंक्चर पे हैं वेयर यू हैव टू मेक अ चॉइस विच बी स्कूल शुड यू गो फॉर। एंड इन दिस वीडियो आई एम गोना कंपेयर द सेकंड जनरेशन एंड थर्ड जनरेशन आईएम्स विद सम कंपेरेबल नॉन आईएम्स so that you have absolute clarity as to where should you go. This includes IITs, so you'd also know what is the rankings within the IITs. This is a highly requested video. In my last few videos I have done independent rankings of the new IIMs and also the rankings of baby IIMs. तो इस वीडियो में वो rankings को accumulate करके अब non IIMs के साथ ranking करके एक complete ranking, complete preference order आपके लिए तैयार है. Hi, I'm Darpan Saxena, an MBA graduate from IIM Udaipur. I have been the MBA Product Head at Career Launcher. I'm the founder of Creatum and I help MBA students create fulfilling careers without depending on placements. तो मैंने ये वीडियो बनाने के लिए एक बहुत डिटेल्ड रिसर्च करी है और आपके लिए एक ऐसा टूल तैयार करा है जिससे आप अपने फैसले खुद ले सके. सो while in this video I will also be prescribing you an order. मैं भी एक IIMs और नॉन IIMs का ऑर्डर प्रिस्क्राइब करने वाला हूं, मगर ये टूल जो मैंने आपके लिए बनाया है काफी हेल्पफुल होने वाला है और मैं इसको एक्सप्लेन करता हूं कि ये क्या है. मैंने बेसिकली क्या करा है, baby IIMs which are represented in blue, new IIMs which are represented in orange, IITs with MBA programs which are represented with red and all the comparable non-IIMs which are represented in green. उसका एक चार्ट प्रिपेयर करा है. अब आप चाहें तो कोई भी चार्ट को एक्टिवेट और डीएक्टिवेट करके समझ सकते हैं कि y एक्सिस पे what is their latest average salaries, x एक्सिस पे what is their fees. Although I strongly feel and I've always said this in a lot of my videos that fees is not a very important consideration when you're going for top 30 B schools because banks will loan you, and for such B schools it is more important to see the average salaries, the outcome which is going to, which that B school is going to give you. But that's that. And the size of this bubble is going to give you what is the batch size. So for example, if I were to speak to you about IIM Udaipur, as soon as you hover onto IIM Udaipur, you will see that the fees is approximately 21.5. The average salary is 18.77. It is a new IIM and the batch size is 315. So this size of the circle will represent the batch size. Broadly ये है. अब अगर आपको comparison करना है आपके लिए बहुत easy है. अगर आपको new IIMs को IITs के साथ compare करना है तो all you have to do is just select this box. Now suddenly what you will see and what you need to understand is that a better B school is usually the one which is going to be higher on the y axis. Y axis मतलब ये average salary की axis पे जो भी higher school है irrespective of the fees. मतलब जरूरी नहीं, see again the sweet spot obviously is that salary has to be high and fees has to be low, which means somewhere over here. मगर अगर वो यहाँ पे भी है that the average salary is very high but fees is also high, even that is absolutely fine because that fee is gonna get recovered over a span of few years. So fees is never that important when selecting a good B school. So your thumb rule while seeing this graph has to be that okay, higher on the y axis is a better B school. But अगर बहुत close हैं, अगर y axis पे बहुत close हैं, then probably you need to make a choice basis certain thumb rules which I'll be suggesting to you later or basis the preference order which I'll be speaking about. In the same way, you can switch this off and you can open up certain comparable non-IIMs and इसमें you'll see a lot of non-IIMs are there. For example, Symbiosis Pune, for example, SCMHRD, for example, Bitsom Mumbai, for example, XIMB, Mica Ahmedabad, NMIMS, IMT, Great Lakes, KJ Somaya, TAPMI, and all of these institutes. So you will get a very comprehensive understanding of okay, what is the real-time data analysis करने के लिए आपके सामने है. But not just this. These parameters might not be enough for you. And if you've seen my previous videos on rankings, I use certain other parameters as well, which are what? Which are percentage of freshers and engineers. So on this separate graph, which I've also linked in the video below, you can see that the y-axis represent the percentage of freshers. मतलब जितना ऊपर आप y-axis में होगे, उतना उस B school में ज़्यादा freshers हैं. And the x-axis represent the percentage of engineers. Now you can open whichever B schools you want to check and you can quickly get a snapshot of that. Okay, पिछले साल में उस B school की स्थिति क्या है, what is लगभग the batch composition. So with this you can check the batch composition and with this this you can check some average salary and fees data. My dear friends, let me tell you something. This what I've prepared for you is so powerful that you and your friends and your parents and your family can make your choices yourself. आपको वरना प्लेसमेंट रिपोर्ट में देखना पड़ता, कंपैरिजंस करने पड़ते, शायद आपको मालूम भी नहीं होता कि ओके कौन से फैक्टर्स है इंपॉर्टेंट, बट वो सारे फैक्टर्स मैं यहाँ पे ले आया हूँ. अब चलते हैं कि इस डेटा को यूज करके और मेरे पर्सनल ओपिनियंस एंड एक जनरल कंसेंसस, एक जनरल ऑब्जर्वेशन, जनरल परसेप्शन को यूज करके व्हाट इज माय रिकमेंडेशन. सो इफ यू वर टू बी माय नीस और इफ यू वर टू बी माय नेफ्यू, इफ यू वर टू बी माय younger brother or sister, what is it that I would advise to them? Let's go ahead and understand that. Here we go. Now first of all, I'll open up that what are the second gen and the third gen IIMs we are comparing them with. Now you will see a preference order within these IIMs, and if you've seen my previous video जहां पे मैंने second generation और third generation IIMs को rank किया था, you would have seen that मैंने हर एक generation को 5 different job roles के ऊपर rank किया था, which were consulting, sales and marketing, finance, product management, IT and operations in 5 के ऊपर. अब ये जो preference order finally आपके सामने आ रहा है, ये उन पांचों का average है. So for example, if IIM Udaipur was rank number 1 for certain stream, then rank number 3 for a certain stream, rank 4 for certain or 1 for certain, मैंने उन सब का एक average लिया है, and that is why it has got rank 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 or 5. So the last video which you greatly appreciated, which utilized a very deep and very correct methodology, this video extends that and gives you a good idea of how you are supposed to think about the second generation and the third generation IIMs. However, I would repeat this, that if you want to make a choice within second generation and third generation IIMs, don't go by just this video. Watch those detailed videos in which as per the stream you can choose which IIM is good. तो अगर आपको second generation, third generation में ही अगर choices if you have to make, that is a better video. Also, it is very important for you to watch this video up till the end, because now while I'll be comparing these second generation and third generation IIMs with certain non-IIMs, I would be skipping on a few B schools, and for that what you have to do I will share with you at the end. Now let's get back to this, and first let's try and understand that okay, how do these IIMs compare with IITs, and while I'll be comparing them, you'll also sort of understand the ranking within IITs for MBA program. Now here we go. The first one is Shailesh J. Mehta School of Management, IIT Bombay, and this would undoubtedly go above any second generation IIM, above any third generation IIM. At best, this is comparable with an IIM Mumbai, IIM Indore. That is where this would go. Now the second in the order is IIT Delhi's DMS, Department of Management Studies, and probably here is where a bit of controversy would start, but I'll explain you what exactly I intend to do with this. Now what happens here is that DMS would somewhere be a comparable or a tad bit better B school to IIM Udaipur. Now here is what you need to understand. Jahan pe bhi the arrow ends at the upper edge of a school, I am suggesting that that B school is better than the IIM. Whereas if the arrow hits the center of the box, then I am saying that it is a very comparable choice for different things. Or if the arrow hits the lower edge, then you would know that I am saying that okay, probably the IIM is a bit higher than the non-IIM school. Now the reason why I am saying that an IIT Delhi would be a comparable B school to an IIM Udaipur is this, because if you are an engineer and if you're specifically looking for consulting or technology roles, a very clear choice for you should be IIT. However, now here is where the perception, here is where data and a lot of logic comes in, that if you're looking for any other role which could be say marketing and sales, it would make more sense for you to go for a more generalized experience with a better brand for MBA, which is IIM Udaipur. And also because IIM Udaipur is a very fast growing rocket ship. Over the last 5 years it has proved to be very consistent, and for sure over the next 2-3 years people are going to recommend this a tad bit higher than IIT. In fact, you would be surprised. तो मेरे last year की videos पे जाओ या कुछ साल पहले की किसी की भी video पे जाओ, and if you see this, people would undoubtedly recommend an IIT above all of these IIMs. However, this is the beauty of joining a good IIM, that it's growing really fast. For all you know, 5 years from now, this would be a very different screen altogether. Moving on from there, let me help you understand that the third in the order, the third IIT in the order, which is IIT Kharagpur, where does it stand? Now, here is what it is. The VJ Som B School, I would suggest that you should prefer most other new IIMs for this instead of, except for IIM Rohtak. Now, except for IIM Rohtak, if you have a choice to make between a second generation IIM and a VJ Som, you could choose any of the second generation IIM over VJ Som. Again, the same logic applies here. If you are an engineer specifically looking for technology, operations, maybe even consulting roles, it might make more sense for you to go to VJ Som. If you are an engineer, apart from that, for a more generalized experience, for a better brand for MBA, it would make way more sense for you to get to a second generation IIM, and you will certainly see the impact of this in the next 2 years, 3 years for sure. This is what would be a good choice to make. Now, coming on to IIT Roorkee, IIT Kanpur and IIT Madras's Department of Management Studies. And I must remind you, at all times, whenever you are confused about what you should do, you could quickly go back to this data chart which I have created for you. This is absolutely interactive, and you will be able to play around with these things and find it out for yourself. So here you can see it for yourself that among the IITs, the best IIT is IIT Bombay, followed by IITD, followed by an IIT Kharagpur, so on and so forth. You will be able to see these things for yourself. Therefore, while I am suggesting you the hierarchy, you also have the power of data for you to go check and make your own choices. Also, if you've liked the video up till now, do not forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, because it is very important for me to help you out now further in your MBA journey. अब आप अपने B school में जाने वाले हैं, वहां पे क्या क्या होने वाला है, उसके लिए हेल्प करना जरूरी है. क्या क्या मैं कर सकता हूं, I will let you know shortly. Now, getting back to this, when we are talking about IIT Roorkee, IIT Kanpur and an IITM, I would rate it below the third or the third generation IIM. Again, if you were to speak specifically about the top 2 third generation IIMs, which is Nagpur and Vizag, these two brands are growing very fast. These two are a very good growing brand. It gives you the comfort of having studied at an IIM. Please do not go by the logic of अरे but batch size IITs का कम है, ये है वो है. No. If you're doing an MBA, always make safe choices. A brand is a safe choice. A faster growing B school is a safe choice. It's always a safe choice, and this would make absolute sense for you. Maybe one level up or down it could happen. So for example, you might say to me that, sir, I have a call from IIM Jammu. Should I go to IIM Jammu or IITR? I am a bit confused. Now again, that becomes a personal choice. These are very comparable schools. You could even make a choice to go to IIT Roorkee. That would not be outrageously wrong. In fact, that might not even be wrong at all. So when you're talking about comparable B schools, and if you have doubts about comparable B schools, here is what I would suggest. Scroll down, find a link to my TopMate account and book a call with me, because certain cases need very special attention and hearing, and probably I need to hear from you that, okay, why is it that you're planning to go there? Probably you have real reasons, probably you have real research of your own, probably your story and your profile is such. So in that case, wherein after watching this video, if you're still confused where to go, do not forget to book a call with me, because that might make a lot of sense for you. You will make a good choice. After that, you'll save yourself from making a wrong choice. Now here is this. Moving on from here, these were the IITs, and now let me share with you some other B schools which are important, which are good B schools for you to join. Now here's what. Let's talk about Symbiosis Pune. Outrightly, this is a better B school than all of the second generation and third generation IIMs. Now, if we talk about SymBP, we should also speak about SCMHRD. And now here is the thing which might be a controversial opinion, because what I am suggesting is that probably you would be better off taking the top 2 second generation IIMs instead of SCMHRD. Before that, one misconception that I need to break for you. SCMHRD is not just just a B school for HRM. It's not. It just happens to be in the name. It is a very good general MBA program. However, again, I repeat the point that when you will go to this chart and you will compare their statistics, what you will see is that while they are comparable B schools, what would be to your advantage if you were to join an IIM Udaipur and IIM Trichy is a better brand, a faster growing brand. However, again, I would say here, this is a very personal choice. You might go through this very data, probably you might go to this chart which speaks about freshers and engineers, and you might say to me that no, it makes no sense. For me to go to SCMHRD makes more sense than an IIM Udaipur. Fair, but you need to discuss that. You need to have your strong reasons for that. It could, it cannot just be placements, because again, the way these second generation and even some of the third generation IIMs are growing, जितनी तेजी से ये बढ़ रहे हैं, 3-4 साल बाद इस स्लाइड का कॉम्प्लेक्शन ही कुछ और होगा. For all you know, SCMHRD might be ranked below these 6 second generation IIMs, for all you know, because that is what happens when you have an association, when you have an affiliation, when a B school is growing in the umbrella of a brand like an IIM. That's what happens to it. Again, a very interesting B school is MICA Ahmedabad, and again, I have a very interesting take for MICA Ahmedabad. Now, while you might think that, yaar, ek minute, marketing hai to MICA Ahmedabad should be above than any other second generation IIM, but here is where the catch is, and here is where probably you need to go back and check the data which I have provided to you, because when you go back to this data, what you will see is that MICA Ahmedabad's average is 19.21, whereas if you were to check an IIM Udaipur, its average is 18.77. तो comparable averages हो गए हैं, जिसमें से भी एक की रिपोर्ट तो audited भी है. Now here is where things get interesting. Here is where suddenly you realize that अरे इसका मतलब है कि IIMs इतनी तेजी से ग्रो कर गए कि आज से 2 साल पहले तक तो we used to think कि अरे MICA तो MICA है यार, but now suddenly people are comparing MICA and IIM Udaipur as well. There was a point of time wherein nobody used to compare IIM Shillong and IIM Udaipur. You won't believe it, since the last 2 years, people have started to even opt IIM Udaipur over IIM Shillong. That is how fast some of these brands are growing. Now, here is what my take for MICA Ahmedabad is. Here is what you are supposed to do. Now, I have placed it in the center of IIM Udaipur and IIMT, but I have put a bracket over here because I am not saying that IIM Udaipur is above it or IIMT is not above it. What I'm trying to say is that these 3 B schools are now very comparable B schools. If you were to go to marketing, if you want to go to marketing, then MICA Ahmedabad is your clear choice. However, if you want to do anything else apart from that, probably you might want to have the experience of IIM Udaipur with you, or if you're very specific for finance, probably you might even want to choose an IIMT over MICA Ahmedabad. Now, this is what this means, जो मैंने ऐसे आपको stylized way में यहाँ पे दिया है. My dear friends, what you need to also understand over here is that at times you also need to make safe choices, and some of these growing brands are extremely safe choices. If you still have a confusion, then you must speak to me. Extremely important. Also, drop down your queries in the comments. I will respond to as many as I can. Moving back to this next B school is an even more interesting one, a controversial one, which is NMIMS Mumbai. Now, here is what it is. It is a very comparable B school to IIM Udaipur, and because I've put the arrow at the center of IIM Udaipur, what I'm trying to say is that you might even choose an IIM Udaipur above NMIMS. The biggest complaint which students have for NMIMS is this, that the batch size is humongous and the placement salaries are inflated like nobody's business. In that case, you know that an IIM Udaipur is an IIM with a controlled lower batch size than NMIMS, as well as a placement report which is audited. Therefore, IIM Udaipur and NMIMS, after so many years, now one can safely say it is a comparable B school and you can choose either. Moving on from there, IIMT. Now, here is a very interesting take which I will present to you for IIMT. Now, if you were to ask me directly that, okay, where do you think IIMT would fit in? I would say that, okay, it is comparable to the second generation IIM. So probably you want to choose an IIMT over an IIM Rohtak, especially if you want to go to marketing. However, you might choose an IIM Ranchi, or you're more likely to choose an IIM Ranchi over an IIMT in most of the cases. However, here is something very interesting. It could also be that some somebody might put or somebody might regard IMT to be a brand which they might choose to be higher than even the third last or the fourth second generation IIM. Why? If suppose you have a call from IMT's marketing program which is a good program, you might say that अरे यार wait a minute, मुझे रोहतक और काशीपुर जाने में कोई इंटरेस्ट नहीं है, मैं जा रहा हूँ IMT गाजियाबाद. Or it could also be that probably you are a female and you might want to go to IIM Rohtak, or it could be that you have an option to go to IIM Ranchi's BA program and hence you might say that nahi yaar, I would prefer to go to IIM Ranchi as compared to IMT. That is also very much okay and acceptable. That is why I've put that for an IMT you might want to think of it in a broad range instead of it being a specific slot. Moving on from there, the next B school is a very interesting one because of how rapidly it has grown, which is BITSOM, and you could safely place it right now above the last second generation IIM, which is IIM Rohtak. You might want to choose BITSOM over IIM Rohtak because of its audited placement report, and here is what you need to see. Its audited placement report which gives a average package of 23.41, so and a small batch size as well. So something is happening that this B school is doing really well, and it would be really interesting to observe this particular B school for the next few years because something is happening over here. Therefore, this B school you might want to choose above. In fact, you should choose above an IIM Rohtak, but you might say that okay, probably I'd have a confusion if I were to choose between IIM Kashipur and BITSOM or IIM Ranchi and BITSOM because probably I might want to err towards the IIM brand. That's absolutely fine. Again, that is why I'd remind you, some of these choices are very personal choices. You need to make these choices really well. Irrespective of which choice you make, I know for a fact that अगर आप ये वीडियो देख रहे हैं, आप इनमें से किसी एक B school में जा रहे हैं, यहाँ पे एक बहुत important बात है. If you want to really do well in your B school, let me tell you, you can get lost. You can get absolutely lost in the B school. Therefore, prepare for it well. I had last year curated a program called How to Be School. As the name suggests, it's a pre-MBA program. It will help you on a lot of spheres. How to do well in your academics in your MBA, how to do well in your extracurricular activities, how to make friends, romantic relationships maybe, summer placements, final placements, resume, all of those things. Also, the important concepts of finance, economics, accounting, marketing जो first year में पढ़ाएंगे, वो सब आप already पढ़ के जा सकते हैं ताकि you don't get lost. Also, which specialization should we choose? A very crucial choice which you have to make. All of this is covered inside the course How to Be School. You should consider enrolling for it. The link of it is in the description below. Moving back to this. Now, after this one, you have Ex-MBA, another very good program, but where would you want to place this program? Now, one unfortunate thing which Ex-MBA has is that Ex-MBA is actually a good program, but I don't know why the perception is not good. People undervalue it, because of which, again, I would present to you a range. You might even want to choose an Ex-MBA above an IIM Rohtak. It might not be a bad choice at all, but if you are brand conscious, if you want to go for a brand, it might also happen that you might even say that नहीं, अगर मुझे IIM नागपुर और Ex-MBA में है ऑप्शन, तो मैं शायद IIM नागपुर जाऊं या फिर मैं शायद IIM वाइजैक को भी Ex-MBA के ऊपर प्रेफर कर सकती हूं, because probably you know what, it is a better brand, a safer choice to go for very high growing B schools, fast growing B schools like Nagpur and Vizag. Even that might happen. That is that. And finally, one of the other B schools which I'll be speaking about is IMI. Now again, with IMI, the simple thing which may happen is that it would be a comparable B school to an IIM Rohtak. Again, owing to its average salary which you can spot from this, it would be somewhere here. Now, owing to that, however, again, somebody might say the same thing for an IMI that nahi, but IMI nahi, I want to go for a brand. Because of that, you might, again, I put this arrow as thing that even if you were to choose an IIM Nagpur or an IIM Vizag above IMI, it would be okay. Again, my point is not to give you a diktat कि यही सही है. सही बहुत कुछ हो सकता है, आपका सही और मेरा सही अलग हो सकता है. मेरा फर्ज एज अ मेंटोर बनता ये है कि आप कुछ बहुत गलत चॉइस ना कर रहे हो. इसीलिए अगर डाउट है, book a call with me. A second option is that join my Telegram group. It's absolutely free. I respond to students with my voice notes in that. So if you have to speak to me, you can also seek my advice there inside the group as well. Moving on from there, Now let's speak about some of the comparable B schools for the third generation IIMs, and this is going to be very quick, after which I will share with you what are you supposed to do if you're still stuck. Now again, if you were to talk about a B school like Tapmi, you would want to place this B school as a comparable school to maybe an IIM Vizag and IIMN, but you are most likely going to choose a safer option like IIM Nagpur or an IIM Vizag over T. Again, this one example also shows me how rapidly these IIMs are growing. Oh my god, a few years back it would have been an obvious choice for a student who would have got a final offer from IIM Nagpur or IIM Vizag, and the student, he would have been extremely sad कि अरे IIM Nagpur और Vizag का call a final offer आया है, तापमी जाना पड़ेगा. Suddenly that complexion has changed. Suddenly now it has started to happen that Nagpur and Vizag have started to become good and obvious choices to go for above that. अगर आप तापमी भी लें कोई हर्जा नहीं है. तापमी is a much older B school, but what I'm trying to reflect in this slide is that IIM Nagpur and Vizag are growing so fast that if you were to choose IIM Nagpur and Vizag, you will be at a good place at the end of the 2 years. You will not regret. In fact, you might end up a tad bit more satisfied. Moving on to the remaining institutes. Now, I have opened these institutes एक साथ, which is Goa, which is KJ Somaya, IRMA, Great Lakes, Delhi School of Economics, and 4. All of these institutes. Now, here is what I would suggest to you. The first 4 among these, which is Goa Institute of Management, KJ Somaya, IRMA, and Great Lakes, you might make it comparable to an IIM Jammu or an IIM Sambalpur. You might still, again, this shows the growth of these IIMs, you might still want to choose an IIM Nagpur, an IIM Vizag, and even an IIM Bodh Gaya above these B schools, JIM, KJS, IRMA. And you can see this again from these stats. I would give you a specific example of this institute, which is KJS. Now you might think, अरे but 2 साल पहले तक तो मैं सुन रहा था KJS तो बहुत अच्छा इंस्टीट्यूट है. Now the problem is it has a batch size of 600 with an average salary of only 12.79, whereas an IIM Nagpur and all of these IIMs, which I can show from here, have grown to be much more stronger than these IIMs at a 15.48 and a much higher salary than all of those. Therefore, my dear friends, a lot of these things would be controversial, but these things are the safer choice you have to make. When it comes to the last 2, which is DSC and 4, you could choose them below all the third generation IIMs, which means it might be a safer choice for you to make if you were to go to these. Now quickly, what next? 3 simple things. If you're still confused, you should go for this. You should connect with me on a 1-to-1 call. Go ahead and find my top mate link and book a call with me so that you don't end up making a grossly wrong choice. Second thing, please be prepared for MBA. I'm not even saying it in fun. It is really important. You need to learn the concepts of finance, economics, accounting, marketing before you enter MBA. Otherwise, you'll get lost. You need to know how to do well in academics, case competitions, summer placements, final placements, how to, what happens inside a B school. For this, my dear friends, how to B School Pro Plus has these 4 courses within it. It's not just 1 course, 4 courses. How to B School MBA specialization. Select your specialization right now, ताकि प्रोफाइल बिल्डिंग करना शुरू कर दो, वरना कब करोगे? CV तो फ्रीज हो जाएगी. टाइम तो अभी है. उसके साथ साथ MBA concept crashes, business communication, mastery, all of these things are very important. Do yourself a favor, scroll down on this video, check the link, and you might like the program. It will help you. And finally, you need more support, then join our community. It's a free group which you can join, and you will find me responding to students with my voice notes. Students will respond to you as well, and you can always remain connected. My dear friends, my attempt in this video was to give you a holistic perspective, also bring to you certain interactive tools which I have produced for you, so that even if this ranking made no sense to you, and wait, whatever you think about these rankings, let me know in the comments. If you think these were nonsense, what are you talking about, let me know. If you think not a bad job, good one, I got my clarity, अगर तुम्हें clarity मिली इससे, let me know. My dear friends, I'll see you in the next video. Thanks a lot and goodbye.